Okay, I'm a guy from Finland and I've been watching your videos online and thought about asking your questions. Hope it's all right. Since quite young, I have been interested in Eastern philosophies, Taoism, Tantra, traditional Chinese medicine, etc. These theories all speak about sexuality and masturbation is seen as quite a negative thing, and that ejaculation, especially if done often, causes energy loss, kidney deficiency, energy deficiency, etc., and is seen as a serious thing. But what's the reality? Does it affect energies in such a way at all? Or is this just caused by false beliefs and superstitions that we should discard? I know the modern view is quite the opposite and open, but I still like being caught up between the East and West, confused. So this is Martha of Eros Coaching. I'm a sexologist with a doctorate in human sexuality, and I'm from Eros Coaching. That's eroscoaching.com. I really appreciate these questions relating to East and West and relating to sexuality and energies and Tantra and spirituality. And the reason is I am very interested in this topic, so much so that I started my own radio show about 2.5 years ago called Eros Evolution. So in that radio show, I always explore the link between sex and spirit. And if you're interested, please check out my radio shows because they are free. And so let's get to this question. Okay, Taoism comes from basically Chinese ancient philosophy. So I'm Chinese. I speak Mandarin, but I don't read Mandarin. And Tantra comes from India, and is very much associated with Kama Sutra. And in Tantra, it essentially believes, I'm talking about Tantra sex now, it believes in using sex for our evolution of our spirituality. And traditional Chinese medicine, as you know, involves herbs, and it's all natural using herbs and plants. Herbs come from plants. So when they all speak about sexuality, masturbation is seen as a negative thing. I think what actually they are saying is that they're talking about habitual masturbation. You know how you do something and it's meaningful versus you do something just because you do it. You know, it's kind of like habit. You do it for the sake of doing. And I believe that that is what they are saying. Okay, so masturbation is not a negative thing. But wait, hang on a minute. And so when it comes to ejaculation, especially, is done often, again, doing it for the sake of doing and not listening to your body. If you are doing things for the sake of doing and you're not listening to your body, you're probably doing it more than you should. And so that's what it means by doing it often. So that's the difference between doing it often because you want to and your body needs it and your body craves it, as opposed to do it just because it's habit. So when you do it many, many times for the sake of doing it, I call it, it causes energy loss. Obviously it does, because what you're doing in effect is that you're forcing your body to perform. When you're tired, you sleep. When you need to eat, you eat. And when you feel horny and you feel like masturbating to let go of sexual attention in your body, you should. If you choose not to and you want to channel it into other things like into gardening, into your work, you can. It's your choice. I know many people who do that. What they're doing, however, is they're unconscious with the way they're channeling their sexuality. And so by being really conscious about it, you'll be surprised. You notice what happens to the quality of your work when you're conscious. So will it cause an energy loss, kidney deficiency, energy deficiency? Yes, if you keep forcing yourself to do it. In previous videos, I mentioned other things around excessive masturbation and what happens to my clients. People with penises who do that, who have shared with me their experiences, and this is also my personal belief. And so I share those in those videos, so you can always watch those videos instead of me trying to answer many questions in one video, which is what is happening in this video. So, okay, what's the reality? I just mentioned that. So is this a serious thing? It's just consciousness, it's just awareness. When you want to be scared, you would say things like, oh, it's so serious, and it's a negative thing. I must repel. I must confess. What purpose does this serve? It just makes us feel bad. So just know, okay, I didn't know, and now I kind of have an idea of what else I can explore. So treat this as a positive thing. Okay, don't shut down, don't shame yourself, don't get scared and embarrassed and all these things. Okay, so now you know. Previously I was unconscious, now I want to be conscious. Now I want to listen to my body. Okay, and there are other parts here. So what's the reality? I cannot cover it. Does it affect energies in such a way at all? Well, ancient Chinese philosophy, Tao, really believes that as you get older, your energy in your body does get affected. And ancient Chinese emperors would have their priestesses, many of them women, in fact, teaching him how to have sex in a way that actually replenishes his energy and actually cultivates and heals certain part of his bodies, including his kidneys. And a lot of this is already lost in literature. And I certainly believe that if you are already studying this, there's really no harm in exploring this further and studying more, right? Don't just trust what people say. Learn, try, feel, and then assess for yourself, is this is what is happening for you. Other people might say certain things. If you can safely try something and you would like to, then go ahead, do it, and then reevaluate whether whatever it is that they said applies to you. You do want to make sure that you're safe, of course. So is this caused by false beliefs and superstitions? I would say that there are certain elements of truth to it. And what ancient Chinese emperors Tao in Taoism, in having sex in different ways, or refraining from having frequent sex, is they had advisors, they had people who were really experienced in this, teaching them. And there was a purpose and rationale behind it. So what is happening is we hear bits and pieces of information here and there, and then we get scared, we get, of course, curious as well. But what happens is we don't have the full picture. And so I believe that there must be some element of truth in what they say, because obviously this is a very ancient thing. However, we are just having pieces of it. So we don't have the full thing, and so we don't know what is the full practice that is safe. So you could actually look up certain teachers that actually are of the philosophy of Tao and Tantra and traditional Chinese medicine, and follow their work, while follow maybe one teacher for a while you read up on other things that other teachers have to say. But make up your mind and follow one teacher, so that you can go deep instead of going all over the place, because then you never really get to the bottom of your question, will you? So is this caused by false beliefs? I would say no, there might be some truth to it. And I know the modern view is quite opposite and open. And I don't know what the modern view that you have is. I would say in general, like in popular magazines, they are, and also depends what magazine you read. It does sound like it's very open, like try this tip and trick and technique. A lot of it is actually written in a fun, light-hearted way to captivate reading and to get people to buy the magazine. And a lot of these things may come across as fun and open, but it doesn't actually go deep. And so it's like a little bit of everything, and you get really excited. However, the execution sometimes is a problem for some people. And so this is when the coaching really supports people, because the interaction and the ability to address their questions really specifically to what they're looking for is very useful. I feel like that I'm caught between the East and West. So you're not the only one, okay, who is from the West and are very interested in Eastern philosophies. And I appreciate your curiosity and your interest. And in fact, some Westerners are actually also more learned about Eastern philosophies than the Easterners themselves. And there are people who project and assume that just because I'm Asian, that I must know a lot about Asian culture, or that I must be very learned or very good in Mandarin, which is not true. And yes, so I feel yes, you feel you're caught up between, and I wanted you to know that there are actually many people who have gone before you, and there are some resources that I can recommend to you, and I'm going to post some of them in the video below. And just bear with me. I should have done this earlier, but I'm actually just answering the question as I go. And so if you go to Google and you look up Eros Evolution at a Glance, you will go to this link where you will see every single episode of Eros coaching. And there is I'm looking for a particular guy now, and can't find his book. And yeah, I'm trying to find. I can't find it. But I will. Okay, never mind. So just keep looking at me while I look for the exact episode where I interviewed this amazing guy who I loved his book, and subsequently I interviewed him. Yes, I found it. His book is called How to Worship the Goddess and Keep Your Balls. And I know this book sounds really like controversial and stuff. I was a bit skeptical when I first came across the book just because of the title. But this book, this guy really has gone deep with Chinese medicine. And his name is David Bruce Leonard. And check out that episode. So I'm going to read. Author and a Chinese medicine practitioner, David Bruce Leonard, will discuss rivers of love, intimate therapeutic bodywork for lovers, and shadows of love, maintaining emotional integrity in sexual relationships. And I like him. I like his work. I like his book. I recommend him and his book. So if you're looking for a teacher, try checking this person out first. And I know that there are some really famous teachers whose name I will not mention. And just because some teachers are popular, it doesn't mean that they really went deep or that they are the best. I've also heard things like, oh, this particular very famous teacher actually teaches dangerous practices. So check this person out if you're very interested in Eastern philosophies. And so this is Martha of Arrows Coaching, just sharing with you my opinion about the link between East and West, Eastern philosophies and whatnot. So thanks for watching, and you can always email me at ask@arrowscoaching.com.